supposed to think about this.
You don't even have the energy to laugh at the Clown World stories anymore.
Well, it's dark, you know? That guy's dead.
Well, and speaking of, this next one also maybe has elements of Clown World, but is also just horrifically gruesome and terrible.
Yeah.
This is another story that I think would be much bigger news if demographics fit other preferred narratives, of course. 73-year-old grandmother named Linda Fricky was brutally attacked in a carjacking by youths on Monday. She was leaving her place of work, this in I think it's the Midtown neighborhood, a particular neighborhood of New Orleans. She was leaving her place of work. She's packing her car. 4 teenagers attacked her. Apparently, the scene was something similar, as I mentioned, to the carjacking of that Pakistani Uber Eats driver in D.C. last year.
So much like that. Yeah.
So, according to witnesses, the woman got caught in her seatbelt as the robbers stole her car, which resulted in her arm and clothes being ripped off during the crime. Yes, her arm was severed as she was dragged by this car, with these teenagers escaping the scene in her car that they stole. When witnesses approached her as the car sped away, her arm was missing, but she was still breathing. The ambulance did not make it in time, and she apparently bled out, dying at the scene. Some witness statements here. The lady, being Linda Fricky, the victim here, was trying to put something in her vehicle. The guy jumped in and kicked her out, and she got caught in the wheel well. Oof. I heard screaming like, "You're about to die," screaming. Another witness said it was dragging a lady by the seatbelt outside the car. The door had closed on the seatbelt and she was stuck in it. I got out of my vehicle screaming, "Please stop." Other neighbors were also screaming, this according to another witness. Evidently, the teens did stop the SUV for a moment to kick Fricky out, but not to check to make sure that she was not caught in the seatbelt in the process. So they stopped to give her the boot, not to actually help her in any way. The actual moment of the carjacking was captured on surveillance footage. Here is that moment. Obviously, it's not graphic. And as far as I can tell, I don't know that there's footage of the dragging and the aftermath. There might be, but I'm not going to show anything like that on YouTube. Here's what we can see, and then some more witness statements in local news coverage of the incident. So just walk up on the car, start ripping her out. There are 4 of these teenagers, 1 male and 3 females.
NOPD officials say 4 suspects took her vehicle, speeding off while she was still in a seatbelt. Take a look. Police released video of the suspects late Monday night. She was dragged for more than a block before being dislodged from the car. Her arm severed during the incident. Neighbors helplessly trying to stop the vehicle.
I got out of my vehicle screaming at him, "Stop, stop, you're dragging someone." He took off with the vehicle, still dragging her with reckless disabandonment. No care for human beings at all.
I can think of one Orlando ride that has 4 open seats.
Well, in any just world, they would have been shot for their efforts. It's horrific. Police found the SUV 13 blocks from the crime scene, apparently abandoned. All 4 teens have been arrested and charged with second-degree murder. They are all between 15 and 17 years old, as I mentioned, 1 male, 3 females. The parents of the male who drove the car and one of the girls, so I guess maybe there's a brother-sister combo in here, I'm not exactly sure. But the parents of at least 1 or 2 of these teenagers contacted police Monday to identify their children as those involved. Frankly, I'm surprised that there are present parents to even make this report. Very surprised that this is how the case was cracked.
That is way more racist than anything I've said today.
Well, I don't even mean it as a race thing. I just mean if your kids are out on the street carjacking people,
yeah.
If they just come home and you realize, oh, that's my son out doing that. Where were you a few hours prior? How is the? Is this their first attempt at doing such a thing?
Surely not. They're going to get a slap on the wrist like those Pakistani carjacker.
Yeah. My over-under on the severity of the sentence, 25 hours of community service for second-degree murder.
What did that one chick get? I think the perp, the worst perp in the Pakistani carjacker, I think she got like 2 years in juvie.
It was really light, though, as I recall, not necessarily in fairness to the justice system, but in fairness to the judge in that case. As I recall, there were statutory requirements that prevented youths of that age. I think they were 16, something like that. One was right on the border of these laws that govern it, but there wasn't discretion to the judge for at least one of those kids to actually throw the book at them because of their age. They were the law kind of bound the hands of the judge in that case.
That is just a dark story.
I mean, imagine witnessing that and running up on the scene. In the story, there's also a description of the first woman who responded she brought out a sheet just to cover this woman up. Just as far as I gather, this is something of a residential neighborhood. It looks like, but man, yeah, just absolutely ridiculous. We'll see what the justice system or how the justice system handles it going forward.